Hello there. I am back to read a few more chapters of Stef Soto Taco Queen by Jennifer Torres. So the last time I read, Mommy and Poppy told Stef that she could not attend the Viviana Vega concert with her friend Amanda. However, she ended up going to the arena and selling tacos with Poppy on the Tia Perla taco truck. Also, it's worth noting, as you may remember there was a mysterious customer who asked for the wheat-free, nut-free, dairy-free, meat-free burrito. Keep that in mind, okay? Who do you think that was? Let's get started. Chapter 17. I opened my eyes the next morning, still so tired, you would have thought I had actually gone to the concert. Sunlight pours through the gaps in my mini blinds, casting shadow stripes on my quilt. It's late, I could tell. Stretching under the covers, I'm surprised my parents haven't shaken me out of bed for Sunday breakfast at Susie's. Finally, I yawn, twist my hair into a knot, and stumble into the kitchen, where I expect to find Mommy and Poppy drinking their coffee. Instead, the kitchen is bright and empty. 2 coffee mugs are drying on a dish towel beside the sink, and the only sounds I hear are the ticking of the clock and the hum of our neighbor's lawnmower. Weird. Maybe Mommy and Poppy are already working in the garden? Then I spot a note taped to the refrigerator door. Didn't want to wake you, it says in Mommy's neat cursive. Gone to Susie's. Call if you need anything. Remember, she got a cell phone. I can't believe it, and even peek through the blinds to see if my parents are actually hiding in the backyard or something. But it's true. I'm home alone. No way. Then again, considering that Susie's is just down the block, they might as well be in the backyard. And it's only breakfast after all. They won't be gone for more than an hour or so. But still, my parents have really left me home alone? I feel like I could do anything. And then I can't think of anything to do. I warm a mug of hot chocolate in the microwave and take it to the living room with the newspaper. My parents have locked the doors and even closed all the curtains. It's dark and quiet, and really kind of strange without them. After skimming through the comics and gulping down my hot chocolate, I reach for the cordless phone resting on the coffee table and pull it from its cradle. Mommy left another note there, too. In case anyone calls, do not tell them you're home alone. I know, Mommy, I say to no one but the ticking clock. Rolling my eyes, I dial Amanda's house. Now that it's finally over, I really want to hear about the concert. Amanda's mom answers. Oh, hi, sweetheart, she says. Amanda told me she saw you last night. I'm so sorry you two couldn't go together. But she and Arthur had a good time. They got home pretty late, though, and she's still in bed. Is it urgent, or can I have her call you later? I tell Mrs. Garcia that it's not urgent. I'll just see Amanda at school tomorrow. She hangs up, and I wonder what to do next. It's no use calling Arthur. He has Korean school every Sunday after church and won't be home for hours. I rinse out my mug and go back to my room, guessing I'll just take a shower and then get a head start on my reading for the week. The front door opens as I'm brushing my teeth. Estefania? Mommy calls before the door is even closed behind her and Poppy. In the bathroom, I shout back, my mouth full of minty foam. Just a sec. I find them waiting for me in the kitchen. Everything okay, Mommy asks. Of course, I answer breezily, like it's no big deal that they left me home alone for the first time in my entire life. What could go wrong? Poppy and Mommy look at each other. This time, both of them roll their eyes at me. Then, Poppy holds up a takeout box from Susie's. We missed you at breakfast. You haven't eaten yet, have you? I haven't. And to tell the truth, I was starting to regret missing out on Susie's amazing chorizo and eggs. You're a favorite, Poppy says, setting the box on the kitchen table. Mommy brings me a plate and a napkin while Poppy goes to their bedroom to work on shopping lists for the week ahead. Mommy sits down next to me as I shovel chorizo into my mouth. How did you get him to agree to that? Agree? Mommy answers. It was his idea. I was worried sick. I wanted to call you from the restaurant. Mommy, seriously? I whine. You were like a block away. I was fine. I know, she sighs, squeezing my shoulders. Now finish your breakfast, and then how about you press your school blouses like you did last week? And Poppy's pantalones, too, now that we know that you know how to use an iron. If it means my parents are going to start treating me like a 13-year-old, I'll iron every shirt in the house, not to mention the pants. Socks and underwear, too. Chapter 18. Mommy is called in to cover another assistant manager shift on Monday morning, so Poppy offers to drop me off at school. Since it's not our usual routine, and because we have to pick up Tia Perla on the way, I barely make it to school on time. Even though it's late, I had hoped to find Amanda and Arthur outside class, ready to spill all the concert details. But when I get to the door, I hear their voices already inside. I guess they just couldn't wait to tell everyone else about Viviana Vega. I'm a little jealous I didn't get to hear first, but I understand. Stepping into the classroom, I see a swarm around Arthur's desk. Right next to him at the center of it is Amanda, her hands fluttering in front of her face. I tried to piece together what she's saying and what she's so excited about. I mean, we were right there. We must have just missed her. I'm so mad. Arthur sees me. There she is! Everyone turns around and stares. Everyone but Julia, whose eyes are fixed on the cell phone in her lap. What? I look down at my shirt to see if maybe I spilled something in the rush out the door this morning. Looks clean. I pat the top of my head. Nothing sticking up. Seriously, what? I look to Arthur and then Amanda. What was it like? Maddie demands all of a sudden. Did you touch her? Touch who? Was she nice? Did you get an autograph? Matthew asks. Please tell me you got an autograph. I look from face to face eagerly and can't figure out what any of them are talking about. Are they teasing me? Because my parents didn't let me go to the concert? But that can't be it. Arthur and Amanda are my friends. I turn to Amanda again, my eyes begging for a clue. She stares back at me and blinks slowly. You seriously don't know? Arthur, show her. Arthur snatches a piece of newspaper from Maya, then holds it up for me to see. There, in black ink, is a picture of a taco truck that looks suspiciously like Tia Perla. What now? I take the newspaper from Arthur, and everyone watches me read. It is Tia Perla, and someone's outstretched arm passing a bag to a customer whose face you can barely make out under a dark hooded sweatshirt. I don't get it. Wait. I take a closer look at the picture and finally notice my outstretched arm. I remember the customer. Wheat-free, dairy-free, egg-free, nut-free, and meat-free. I served her the night of the concert. Still doesn't make sense, though. Who would have taken this picture? Why would anyone have taken this picture? And how could it have ended up in the newspaper? But what even is this? Amanda, impatient now, takes my wrist and shakes it. Come on, Stef. Look. Read. Okay. I look at the caption. Pop star Viviana Vega takes a break from rehearsals to sample the local fare before her sold-out arena concert Saturday night. No way. I turn the newspaper clipping over. Suddenly suspicious. Is this even real? Mommy and I read the paper every day. We wouldn't have missed this. And then I remember we didn't have time to look at the newspaper this morning. Amanda starts laughing. You didn't get to go to the concert, but you're the only one who got your picture taken with her. Crazy, right? Julia finally looks up from her phone. It's a miracle she didn't have to cancel the concert because of food poisoning. But I don't even care. I can't take my eyes off that picture. So, did you get her autograph or what? Did she say anything? What did she eat? Is she as tall as she looks? Was anybody with her? I can't keep up. No, I didn't. Oh my God. Julia smirks, her eyes flashing as she suddenly realizes something. You didn't even know it was her. Viviana Vega came to eat at your crazy old taco truck, and you didn't even know it was her. Whatever. Of course I knew. I lie lamely. I'm just, surprised someone took a picture. Viviana wanted it to be a private dinner. Did I seriously just say that? Finally, the bell rings and Miss Barlow gets up from her desk. All right, that's enough. Everyone settle down and take your seats. If we have any extra time at the end of the period, Stef can tell us all about her celebrity sighting. For now, please open your textbooks to page 159. As I pull my language arts book out of my backpack, I turn around and whisper to Arthur, Can I keep the newspaper to show my dad? He nods yes. By lunchtime, I'm not the girl whose dad drives a taco truck. I'm the girl who's met Viviana Vega. If you believe all the rumors, I'm the girl who has eaten dinner with Viviana Vega, who is practically best friends with her. It feels a little weird at first, but I get used to it quickly. Our table is so crowded, I have barely enough elbow room to open my milk carton. I mean, she's really down to earth for being such a major celebrity. Viviana is just, pretty normal, I tell everyone. I look across the table at Amanda and Arthur, double checking that they're not about to gag. They still seem excited for me. Then, for the first time all day, I notice the Viviana Vega button pinned to Arthur's polo shirt. I thought you couldn't stand her. Never underestimate the power of live music, Arthur says. Anyway, I say, looking around the table and nodding at Arthur, he actually introduced us. Arthur looks confused. I remind him of Poppy's official Arthur Choi menu. Specialty of the house? Oh yeah, he grins. If it wasn't for you, we might not have had anything to feed her. Arthur straightens up on the lunch bench. That's right, he says. Viviana Vega's favorite dish is the Arthur Choi special. Chapter 19. After school, I find Tia Perla at the far end of the parking lot, her front end peeking shyly out from under the shadow of a big ash tree. But since I'm still feeling so full of bubbles and butterflies to have sort of met Viviana Vega, it doesn't even bother me to see her there. When Poppy honks the horn and waves, I wave right back, holding up the newspaper clipping. You have to see this, I say, climbing into the truck. Poppy takes the picture and studies it. Surprise crosses his face, then confusion, as he recognizes Tia Perla, but can't quite figure out why he's seeing her in the newspaper. I know the feeling and help him out. It was her, I say, nearly jumping out of my seatbelt. Viviana Vega at our truck. Crazy, right? Ah, see, Poppy smiles. Specialty of the house. He hands the paper back to me and starts the engine. So you got to see her after all. I shoot him a look that says, too soon, but it dissolves quickly back into a smile. I tell him we should make a poster-sized copy of the article and hang it up near the menu. This has to be good for business. Poppy nods and says, But I could tell he isn't really paying attention. I'm a little frustrated that he doesn't seem to understand what a big deal this is when I realize we aren't heading for any of our usual dinner time stops. I've been talking so much and so fast, I hadn't noticed. Wait, where are we going? I ask. Did you forget something at the commissary? We're not taking Tia Perla out tonight, Poppy tells me. There's more important work to do. If we're giving up on a whole night's business, I think this must be pretty important. A few minutes later, we pull into the commissary, and the lot is fuller than I've ever seen it. There are more kinds of food trucks than I could have ever imagined seeing in one place. Walk and roll, lots of pasta, dim sum and then some, heart and soul food, but mostly there are taco trucks. Many of them with vivid murals on their sides that make Tia Perla look even older and plainer than usual. El Toro is a bright red truck with a giant black bull painted right in the middle, its head raised nobly as it gazes off into the distance. A garland of red, orange, and pink hibiscus flowers creep all the way around Burritos La Jamaica. On the back of Mariscos El Nayarit is a swordfish leaping out of turquoise water, its knife-edged tusk pointing at a glowing sun. The trucks are just like canvases, I realize, suddenly seeing them in a new way. As Papi eases Tia Prella into a parking space, I unzip my backpack and start pulling out my math book, figuring I'll start my homework while he takes care of whatever important business he has inside. Instead, he tells me I better come along. He's not sure how long this will take. I follow Papi to the warehouse where we store dry goods like beans and flour and supplies like forks and napkins. Dozens of drivers are in there already, only none of them seem to be doing any work. They're sitting on upturned buckets and standing in groups of 3 or 4. All of them look very serious, with hands shoved into pockets or balled into fists. Papi stands near the back, folds his arms against his chest, and leans on a shelf. I find a bucket and drag it over to sit down next to him. Finally, Vera from Burritos Paradiso walks to the front of the room. "Can everyone hear me?" she asks. And I could tell she's nearly shouting. But from back here, her voice sounds small and flimsy. Someone calls out, "Louder!" "I'll try to speak up," she nods. "Can you hear me? Can we come to order?" Someone clangs a spoon against a big jar of pickles. Ping, ping, ping. The low rumble of voices peters out. "Thank you," Vera tells the man with the spoon. Then she turns again to face the group. "As you know, we're gathered here tonight to come up with a plan to fight these new regulations. I admit, Myrna and I didn't believe anything would ever come of it, but here we are. We have to take a stand." There are murmurs of agreement, and the rumble threatens to build into a roar again. Vera holds up an arm like she's directing traffic. The rumble dies down, but my ears perk up. Regulations? Again? Papi had told the drivers everything would be all right. I believed him, and I haven't really worried about it much until now. I look up at Papi as he listens. He hardly blinks. I pull on his sleeve. "You want me to translate?" I whisper. He shakes his head and pats mine. "No, mija." The city council, Vera explains, has scheduled a public hearing to discuss rules that will govern all mobile food vendors. "That's us," she says. "We need to come prepared to make a strong case for ourselves." She reads the list of proposals I remember from Papi's letter. One by one, the drivers discuss them, deciding whether it's a rule they can live with or one they should protest. They trade arguments. They share stories. They decide they'll go to the hearing as a group. They'll bring their families and friends. They'll make an impression. "Now, I know a lot of you are shy. You think your English isn't good enough," Vera says as the meeting wraps up. "But remember, if you want to be heard, you have to speak up." We leave the warehouse, double-check that Tia Perla is locked up for the night, and walk back to our pickup. I wonder if Papi is going to speak at the big meeting. I can't really imagine it. I want to ask him if he thinks we really might go out of business, but he's gnawing on his fingernails, which gives me an even worse pins and needles feeling than when he asks me to translate, so I don't say anything. When we get home, Papi asks what I would like for dinner, but I tell him I'm too tired to eat and say goodnight. I kick off my shoes, flop on my bed, and stare at the ceiling, thinking a little about the meeting at the commissary. The situation seems much more serious than it did at first, and Papi's stiff arms, tight lips, and ragged fingernails aren't doing anything to convince me that everything's all right. Then again, it's hard to worry too much about food trucks when I remember the newspaper clipping in my backpack. I get up to tape it to the wall, and just for a second, I let myself wonder whether it would be so bad to lose Tia Perla. Mommy still has a good job, and maybe a promotion coming. Plus, Poppy has switched careers before, hasn't he? Chapter 20. In the art studio the next afternoon, Mr. Salazar doesn't leave us in suspense for long. I spoke to the principal about your fundraising dance, he begins. We're perched at the edge of our stools. And she says it's all right. Yes! Jake slaps his hands against the art table, then winces. Ow! Amanda is sitting between Arthur and me and happily socks us both on the shoulders. Julia and Maddie had been squeezing each other's hands, waiting for Mr. Salazar's verdict. Now they are off of their stools, still holding hands and hopping on the linoleum. Yee! If, Mr. Salazar continues, raising his voice over ours, if you're really ready to take this on. Organizing a dance is a lot of work, and raising money on top of that, it's a tall order is all I'm saying. He suggests we elect a planning committee to help make sure we all have the little details covered. Since this was Miss Sandoval's idea, she could be captain. Do we have a co-captain? Mr. Salazar looks around, his arms pop up around the room. You're all leaders, but remember, this should be someone who has spare time. Amanda puts her arm down. Someone with creative ideas. Someone who knows how to throw a good party. Julia smiles at Maddie. But more important, someone who knows how to tell people why they should care. Christopher shoots his hand up, but before Mr. Salazar even gets to him, he calls out, Stef. Pick Stef Soto. Maybe she could get Viviana Vega to come. What? I ask, baffled and slightly terrified. What? Julia sneers. I can't believe it. And judging by the look on her face, neither can Julia. Mr. Salazar hooks his thumbs in his belt loops and seems to think about this. Well, Estefania, what do you say? I don't know. Working with Julia? Being in charge? And what if Mommy and Poppy don't let me go to the dance? How would I explain that? Then again, art is my favorite class. And this is a really great chance to be known for something besides Tia Perla. I look at Arthur and Amanda, who are both nodding enthusiastically. Amanda elbows me in the ribs. Ow! Okay, I tell Amanda, rubbing my side. I look back at Mr. Salazar. Okay, I say, I'll do it. Fine, Julia huffs. You can be my vice captain. Co-captain, I correct her. Before Mr. Salazar dismisses us, he passes out permission slips, asking our parents to let us stay an hour after school twice a week to plan the dance. I fold mine in half and tuck it into my backpack. Before I show it to my parents, I better figure out how I'm going to persuade them to sign. I grit my teeth all the way to the gas station and present the permission slip to Poppy as soon as I get there. His lips move softly as he reads the letter, and I start to panic. They can't say no again. Before he could say anything, I start explaining about the empty art closet and how much I love art. I tell him that Mr. Salazar is counting on us, counting on me, to plan on the dance and make it a success. Poppy puts a hand on my shoulder. Mia, comma. He chuckles. Of course Senor Salazar is counting on you. I don't know if I like the idea of you going to a dance. I feel my cheeks flush, but Poppy checks himself and pulls a pen from his front pocket. You'll be at the school, he confirms. In the studio for planning meetings. The dance will be in the gym. And there will be chaperones? Some of the teachers. We're supposed to recruit parent volunteers too, but I don't mention it. Poppy finally signs. I take the permission slip back from him and zip it in my backpack before he could change his mind. And that is the end of chapter 20. Stay tuned for more.